Hi, folks. Welcome to the video that'll tell you a little bit more about our first unit project called Interview with a Mathematician. All right, so on the screen, you should see the week 3 discussion that I asked you to do this past week. And I gave you 2 pictures to look at, one of some Pirates Booty cheesy poofs and some of Smart Puffs cheesy puffs, okay? And then I asked you to look at them and answer some questions and then think about a time when you felt smart or not smart. And so I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a background about why I would ask you to look at cheesy poofs and what this has to do with math and with feeling smart. So if we take a look at the Pirate's Booty picture, I think the question I said was, what do you notice about the packaging? What does this tell you about what it means to be a pirate? And I think we can see that this image has someone who's supposed to be a pirate. They have an eye patch, they have a parrot sitting on their shoulder, they've got a sword, there's even a treasure chest where all of the cheesy poofs are in, right? And so those are things that generally when someone says, think about what it means to be a pirate, we'll say eye patch, parrot on the shoulder, sword, right? Those are things that we sort of associate with being a pirate. All right, so we'll move on to the next kind of cheesy poof, right? We have these smart puffs. And I asked you the same question. What do you notice about the packaging and what does this tell you about what it means to be smart? And when I look at this packaging, and when I've sort of shown this to other students before, one theme that kind of comes up is you sort of have to be old, you have to be a man, you might even have to be white, and you have to do math in order to be smart. And I think that that's something that I found really interesting when I was reading over everyone's discussion reviews, or discussion posts. It said, tell me about a time when you didn't feel smart. And a lot of people were talking about math being a place where they don't feel smart. Um, and and I get that. Math is a scary place, right? And we've sort of been told about all of these, people who've discovered things in math, but they're often old, dead people, mostly men, not always, but mostly. Pythagoras, right? Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And Einstein, of course, and lots of other people. And they've had great contributions to math. But I think one of the things that makes it hard to sort of feel like you can potentially be good at something, specifically math, is maybe we just don't see a whole lot of people who look like us. And that statement can be super broad. It can be most of the people are male and we don't identify as male. Or maybe most of the people are dead and we're alive, right? It just seems like it was so long ago, and why does that have anything to do with what we're doing today in math class, right? And so for this project, let me switch screens for a moment. For this project, all right, here's your project overview. I'm a math professor, but I think that math is a beautiful subject. And I think that I really want to encourage us to think a little bit more deeply about what it means to be a mathematician and like who's a mathematician, right? Who can be a mathematician? So in this project, I'm going to have you do a few things, okay? Hopefully you've already watched the video with this interview with Dr. Eugenia Chang. You should be watching my video now, and then you're going to go find a video, okay? You're going to watch another video. And in this video, I've created a list of some places that you can go to find people to learn more about what they do. But I want you to watch this video, and then I want you to respond discussing the following things. All right. So I want you to tell me a little bit about who your mathematician is, what kind of mathematics they do, and you don't have to go super in depth. I know some of these people study some really crazy things, but I want you to think a little bit about what they do, okay? What is their job? And what is something that you find interesting about their mathematics or about about your mathematician, okay? But then I want us to think a little bit more deeply. What does this mathematician have in common with the one that I asked you to look at? And what does your mathematician have in common with you? And I think that's really where I want to hear a little bit more about like where you might find some relatability with these people who are in this field of math, which may be maybe not your favorite field. Okay. The one guideline that I have for this, when you go to this page to find another video on a mathematician, okay, we're not doing Pythagoras. We're not doing old dead people, okay? We are choosing mathematicians who are current. Current meaning in the last, maybe 10, 20, 30 years, okay? Current people who are making things or thinking about things that maybe we use or maybe we're going to use. And here's the challenge for you. If you think about like when you're watching TV, and if most of the people on TV don't really look like you or you don't feel like you can relate to them that much. That's sort of what happened to me when I was growing up. I didn't see a whole lot of people who looked like me on TV growing up. But so if you are like me in that case, I challenge you to find a mathematician who does look like you. Okay, whatever that might be. Find a mathematician that you can relate to in some way. Okay. Now, if you watch TV and you feel like most of the people do look like you or like your family or like your friend circle, I challenge you to look outside of that. Find a mathematician who doesn't look like you. All right. Find a mathematician who maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, like maybe they're studying something you didn't even know was a thing, but maybe it's somebody that you've never heard of before. Okay. And so that's sort of the purpose of this as we wrap up our history of math unit, is really thinking about what's our personal history with math? How do we find a greater sense of belonging in this field of study? Because we're all in this class right now, which means, like it or not, we're all mathematicians. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about the project, and I look forward to seeing your videos.